Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. Okay, so today I want to talk about, this is something that I personally myself am very interested in. And once again, I did not bring my tools for the job out here. They're out here, but I don't want to get up. Okay. The cube. I want to talk about the cube. The black cube of Saturn, they call it, or Saturnalia, or the cube of space, Metatron's cube, the Borg. Where else do we see it? The graduation cap. Michael Jackson has a new album that has Saturn going around him. So what do we have here? To me, I like to do research on things that I can see. Like, it's not just like something I heard on the internet or something I read in a book or something I learned in the Bible or like whatever. This cube is very real to me because, as you can see in my other videos where I show you that Lincoln Oval, which is 7-Eleven, Lincoln 7-Eleven, which is the Holy Bloodline, Lincoln Oval is the address 808, which is 88, which is perfection, and it's 8 by 8. That's the cube of Saturn. So around the oval is the actual cube of Saturn, which some people in the military know about this, and they won't talk about it too much, but they get into it a little bit. And it's a cube of Saturn, and then in the middle is the oval. So what the fuck is it, right? Because that's what I've been talking about for a while. I'm like, dude, what is it? Like, people who built this town went through great lengths to make this cube. And what you also must understand is they portray this entire thing in Supernatural, a city that was built with the devil's trap. And that's where his Winchester rifle, or I forget what I don't remember what it's called, the Colt gun. That's where the Colt gun was made. So, and I was like, oh my God, it's like exactly like Visalia. That's crazy, because a lot of people will talk about how we're the center of California, how, people talk about the post office a little bit. I talk about Manos, but the ballpark is the Temple of Hathor. We have the Stargate side. So what is really going on? Everybody knows about the oval, though, and the dark egg and this cube. So Savan Bomar was talking about it. And there's also, they talk about it on Lost. Like, what if I told you there's a box? And anything that you imagine could be brought forth in this box. And John Locke says, well, I think you need to imagine yourself in a submarine. But, what if everything could be brought forth in this box? And that is literally the checkerboard matrix. So once you understand how to operate this matrix, then you understand the cube and how we manifest into it. Now, I have never tried it. I was actually conceived in this cube. It's noteworthy to say I was actually conceived in that cube. And so, how do we operate it? How do we know when we're manifesting, when things that we're thinking are going into the cube? Okay, so, and this cube goes into the Earth grid, not just like Visalia, like the Earth, the whole planet and the galaxy. So let's talk about that. I think okay, when it comes to manifestation, everybody's always like, rainbows and ponies and shit. But I think it's easier to explain it because I think more people are vibrating negatively, and so we see things manifest in the negative, and I think it's easier to see that because we notice it more, it's happening more. So, for instance, I have an internet business, and I would see like a fabric, and I would hold the fabric and be like, man, I haven't sold this fabric in a long time. So I would get like a little bit nervous because maybe I bought a lot of it or like whatever, and I would get a little bit nervous and boom, cha-ching, I would hear my phone go cha-ching and I would be selling it. Or for instance, this has happened to me at least 5 times, at least 5 or 6 times, where I have had something in my shop. It's been there like for a year, and I've been like, you know what? I'm taking this shit. It's mine. Nobody's going to buy it. I'm taking it. And I put it on, and within 20 minutes of me putting it on, because I'm very afraid, especially if I only have like an hour to get on my shop, take it down off from the store so nobody buys it after I've used it. And a lot of the times it'll be like one-of-a-kind fabrics or whatever. And because I'm vibrating so much on the fear of selling this after I've already worn it and then like having to wash it or resell it or find another one or make another one or find something similar, offer something similar, I'm so nervous about it that I manifest it. Because the negative vibration at that time in my life was stronger than my positive vibration. So I was manifesting a lot of negativity. And this even happened to people that I know. For instance, my mother said that she has something also on the internet that she was selling, and she gave it away as a present. And she was very nervous, and she was in a hurry, so she just grabbed it, she wrapped it, shook it as a present. And she was very nervous about giving it because she was afraid she was going to sell it. Afraid she was going to sell it. So what do you think happened? After she had that in her shop for a year and never sold it, and then she got really, really afraid at that party, at the birthday parties. There's a lot of magic going on, many jinn around, lots of primordial chi happening, with the cakes and candles and things like that. So, of course, she manifested that to sell in her shop. You put these ideas into the matrix, okay? And I know it's weird because, I mean, it trips my head out too, because I'm like, that means, like, if I just manifested that right now and it was sold within like 5 minutes, that means that it had to be prepared a long time ago. So our thoughts are time traveling in a sense. They affect our reality. It's like prayer changes things. There's a reason. So I think it's easier, especially when you're going through the ascension process, you'll notice the negative things, like thinking about someone when they call, or thinking about someone. Like, there was a time where I was going through it so strong where I was like, I can't. And this is before I was doing videos, so like anything happened, I was like, I can't think about people I don't like. Because if I think about people I don't like, I see them. Like, within hours sometimes. So, and it was getting the people around me were noticing it too, like a lot. And it would get to be where when I got fully illuminated, then I started to want things for my mission, for this that I'm supposed to do. And so I would want something, and literally within the hour, it would like show up at my door. That happened twice, where like right away it showed up at my door. And I mean, just wild stuff. So it's very powerful what we're able to do, who we are. What are we? We are the creators. That's what they don't want you to know. That's what your Jesus wanted you to know, not the archetype that we know of, but the one who really was an avatar here. The group, it's like a whole group of them. So I think it's important that people understand how to manifest. And I would say practice first with your negative. So, like, I was telling my friend the other day, like, I've been so pissed off and, like, frustrated, like, working with logistics, so I'm doing with, like, the DOD, the Department of Defense, and the military, and I get really frustrated with the military, because they're just really not as efficient as you think they would be, and then, I get frustrated with, like, having my home business, and then being away from it, and not being able to nurture like I feel like I should, and stuff like that, so, I get frustrated, so I was being negative, so I could feel negative things manifesting in my life, because you can kind of see them, where focus goes, energy flows. Gotta love Tony Robbins. Where focus goes, energy flows. Where your energy flows, there it will manifest, okay? So I was telling my friend the other night, because she was kind of grumpy, she's going through some stuff, and sometimes our environment just like gets to us, It just happens where you feel like so illuminated, you feel like you could illuminate anybody else, or like heal someone, do anything, and then the world comes and like, and you're like, oh my God. But, so I told her, like, from now on, when I'm negative like this, I'm just gonna be like, God, I hate money. God, I don't want any money. Like, gosh, I don't want a boat. Man, I just hope nobody gives me a boat. Like, like whatever. So, like, whatever it is, like, we're just joking around about, like, whatever. But, I really wish people would stop giving me things I need, like, hope, like, maybe we can manifest what we need, like, flip a switch on the cube, So, my friend who lives in Oregon, we were joking around about that. But, all jokes aside, you should try it, because it seems to be working, for me anyways. So, let's see. I think that was pretty much, mainly what I want to talk about. The cube is the chessboard. We know that's checkerboard matrix. 8x8 is 64. That's why, of course, the address to the cube is 808, which is Lincoln, 711. And the bus route to the site is B8, which looks like 88, and even the sign has the Ma'at symbol. So there's a lot of allegory going on with the number 88, and John the Baptist, and Mary Todd Lincoln, and all this type of stuff. So definitely worth looking into. I find a hard time being able to find anything about the checkerboard matrix. It's also called the Saturn matrix, or the Saturn matrix. So basically what I had to learn was when I found the site, obviously it has these checkerboard spirals, so I started switching up that, and then started to find more, and then I always kind of knew that we were in this matrix. I always kind of knew that there were stargates, but I never said anything about it because of course people tell you you're crazy. Definitely know that now. My suspicions were correct. But people drink blood and eat like flesh on every Sunday, and like those people like run our country or the whole town. It's strange. So I know that the churches are locking the manifestation process. They have everybody tuned in to this archetype of Jesus, which is not real. And so they're doing exactly what Jesus told them not to do. They're doing that exactly, and even worse than what they were doing then. People are doing it now. And they are locking these cubes up. And that's what they're meant to do. They lock them up so that you cannot get your thoughts in because it's all crowded with like Christian mantras of insecurities and falsehoods, fables, just bullshit. Just, everybody's just like, just so downgraded, I guess would be the way to say it. Everybody's just so downgraded. But basically, I think that if more people would go, because right now, one of the things about the oval is people have always talked about is the way it is and why is it always such a hotspot for evil. And it is. And why is it one of those places, and why does the town here corral the homeless, the drug addicts, everybody, the degenerates, whatever? Why do they corral them there? Why? Imagine if that is the cue, which it is, if all those people are there, negative, hungry, doped up, demonically accessible, if all these people are there, then why are they there? What are they manifesting into our matrix? What kind of feelings are they putting out, into where we're at? So, I think it's important for more people to try to go to those places and do good things. And like a Peter Frampton concert is not going to do it. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They're going to have a Peter Frampton concert here. Like, what about all the people that normally hang out there? What are you going to do? How does to benefit the homeless? How does a $70 a ticket concert benefit the homeless? I mean, those people are never going to see that money. It's weird. So, there's also sacred trees around that oval. 4 C's or 7 C's market is there. What else is there? I'm trying to think of what else is right there. There's a bunch of churches. Oh, the Catholic churches in that area. The big St. Mary's Catholic churches in that area. So there's a lot of interesting things about Visalia, of course. But that if you want to manifest in the cube and you're having a hard time like illuminating or you're not there yet, I would say like you can try that. But really you have to learn how to flip the switch inside of you, and when it flips, you'll know it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. When it flips, you know, it's not a mistake. So it's not like, oh, was it, But hopefully that helps you. I don't know much more I can say about it except for that we're all pieces on the chessboard. Some people are pawns, some people are queens, some people are rooks, some people are, all kinds of different things. Bishops, all these types of things. So everybody has their part. And if you don't play, you're off the board. And I do know that. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, we're above playing the game. We've evolved above the chess game. No, everybody's got to move diagonal. Everybody's got to go. So, I mean, everybody has a part to play. If you don't play, you're off the fucking board. That's just all there is to it. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're off the board. So, I think it's important for people to understand, go look at the Egyptian hieroglyphs of them playing chess all the way back in the days of Egypt. Those are them playing with us on the chessboard. So that's what I'm saying. It's time for all chess pieces to wake up, start playing your own game. Children of God, wake up, start being who you're meant to be. Christians, you gotta get off your high horse and be the servants that you were called to be, that you signed up to be in the first place. Stop driving the church Beamer to church. There's no church Beamer. Get yourself a freaking Buick or something. I don't know. Whatever. Buy something else. You don't need to drive a $60,000 car around. That's crazy. And then be all like, yeah, people are crazy. I think they're crazy. This town has so many churches that I've been to so many of them that I've been an observer for so long. I've been like a spy. Isaiah 6:8, go see but don't perceive, listen but don't hear. And so I just been taking notes and observing and seeing and remembering every single detail. And you know, when I started asking the questions, they're like, you need to get out of here. Don't come back either. So you know, I see what's going on. I can see what's happening in this town, especially since I prophesied that one church would be taken over by another church. It was like the last holdout, and I prophesied that it would be taken over by this church, and it was. And I told that pastor before he told anybody else that it was happening, so I know that they know that I know. And I know who the black magician is, and I think he knows that I know who you are. And I know you watch my videos, and that's okay. But that's why, for instance, let's talk about magic in the Matrix and these people who work the churches that don't know how to work the cube. My cousin worked for what's called Ron Berry's carpet, and Ron Berry died of lung cancer, never smoked, nothing. Could have been asbestos, something in the carpet stuff, I don't know. But my cousin worked for him and laid carpet for a very long time. And he's been sick. He came up with Hep C. They don't know where he got it from. They don't know. And he's a very Christian man and churchgoer. And he's been very, very sick. Well, this church that I'm talking about with the Black Magician, they need a new florist put in. So, what do you think happened for 3 days? He showed up at my cousin's doorstep. This one other guy, not the Black Magician, but the pastor of the church, who doesn't know it. I really don't think he knows what's going on. Shows up at my cousin's door, is like, hey, you know, we need your help. Like, and my cousin got this thing that, like, God's going to heal him for 3 days and make him all better for 3 days so he can put the church's floor in so they can have, like, a fancy church. So, because that's when you know, like, people who have money and people who grow up with money, like, to open a church, they feel the need to do these, like, things, you know what I mean? Whereas, like, people, like, I grew up without money, like, we just get in there, let's get in there, let's get going. I mean, if you want to slap some paint on the walls, go right ahead. But, I mean, we don't need to have, you know, like 50-foot curtains, you know, or whatever, like crazy floors, you know. And I know that they probably did it on a dime, but it doesn't matter. He miraculously was healed for 3 days just to put the floor in and then returned to being sick as a fucking dog right after you put it in. And it's supposed to be some miracle? That's not a miracle. People don't get better to put floors in churches. That the church lost that building. Within like a couple years, they lost that building. So, put floors in churches and return to being super sick. Very, very sick. And there's also all the babies showing up dead. And for like a season, you know, and now there's just like babies everywhere. But for a while, a lot of babies dead, stillborns, and very, very sad. And a lot of people wouldn't go to that church, like superstitious people, because of it. So it's not just me. And other people saying in the music, people getting weird feelings, weird vibrations, sick feeling, all sorts of weird phenomenon happening with this music coming out of this people. So I think a lot of, especially the Buddhist church, is very into this black magic. Anybody in this area, please visit the Voodoo Buddhist church across the street from what used to be Savior's. You will see the runes covering the lotus flower. And we know what the lotus flower is, the seventh seal. So why would they be covering it? Why would they even have anything to do with it? Right? So anyways, and they like hate Christ. They made it very, very abundantly clear that they do not like Christ. So that's worth looking into. I'm trying to think of anything else about the Matrix that I can tell you. I don't really think there is. I can't think of anything else. So 808, I said that already. The checkerboard matrix. Oh, Thoth talks about the checkerboard matrix. He says to move diagonal through the dark squares. If you go into the astral realms, that you need to move in diagonals this way. And if one of these dark beings comes for you, you flee out through the diagonals. And this also, the checkerboard matrix is a hologram. Duh, I should have gone into that, but I assume if you're watching my channel, you know that by now. That it's a hologram that's projected. We are all cosmic forces. So if you imagine, like, you know, they show the swirl of the universe, imagine somebody put a bubble around it and then just projected all those cosmic beings into matter. And then poof, here we are. I mean, it's real enough, you know. And basically, we're all here in this matter and being projected. And so the beings that can see beyond visible light they move in and out of our in and out of the light squares through the dark squares that we don't really see, and they can move in and out of them very quickly. And that's what you hear about walk-ins and dark terrestrials, or, you know, shadow people, or angels, or ghosts, or like whatever, you know. And that is why people see things out of their peripheral vision. Because when you look out of your peripheral vision, you're looking through the dark squares. You're not looking into the checkerboard. You're looking at an angle through the checkerboard. So it changes your perception just a little bit. Sometimes you see a glimpse of something and then it's gone. So that is why people see things out of the corner of their eye, because you're looking through the dark squares, like THOTS says. A lot of people, like I was talking to a friend today, who can see energy fields, and she's the only other person than myself that I know that can see energy fields, and it looks like, imagine if you saw the picture of whatever you were looking at. Like, your eyes tell you what you see. Your eyes are just like data streams. Your brain is a projector. So your brain's telling you what you see. There could be a whole bunch of stuff going on right here that your brain is not programmed to pick up. So, or your brain has been disconnected from picking up. So we don't see everything that's going on. But for those who have their third eye open, all the way, and their crown chakra open, you can see a lot of energy fields. And what it looks like is if you took like this screen right here that I have, and just made it like static. Like, you know, you see static, poltergeist static, but still with the picture screen pretty clear, it looks like a bunch of things moving around. Like, you just kind of like a grainy TV set. You can see where the frequency is disrupted, or it's different, or it's really high, or it's really slow. So on this grid also, there are points of energy. There's energy points. There's points where certain people are just like lost, and other different shows that, you know, have like healing places, that they have energy centers in the earth. Obviously, St. John's is one of them. So I think it's important, that people know about this site, because people who are encoded to this site, and let me just say, just run through it really quickly for the site. The street names surrounding the site are Cain, Sol, like Solomon, S-O-L, Ben Maddox, which Ben means son. That's son of the Maddox. That's the Maddox is the spiral goddess, the mother goddess, the spiral goddess. The Maddox, Mooney, which is money, Moon-y, money. The Kicker from Houston is another street that runs off of it, right? One street over is Houston. That's like NASA, like Houston, we have a liftoff. And also, I think the kicker for me, other than St. John's and Lover's Lane being the, you know, the road, the Lover's Lane turns into St. John's, okay? The Lover's car, that's John and Mary, and the road that runs at the end where the key site is, not the actual key part, not the star, the lotus flower part, is Road 144, which is McAuliffe. For a long time I was trying to figure out, what does McAuliffe even mean? Like, what's the significance of this road? It must be significant, but I don't know what it is. And then, no joke, Uncle, who you see on my channel, is one of my friends on here, and he's the one that told me that it was 144. So I was like, oh my God, it never ends. And then of course I've showed like the Queen of Spades also being 144. Oh, it's probably in my other stuff. And also the color orange is very connected to this site, and orange, the House of Orange, is Mary Magdalene, and that's actually how I kind of started stumbling across this. It was just really strange. I'm just going to go into this really quick, because I think the Matrix is weird. How we manifest in it is just weird, and how the ancestors talk to us, and how we set things up ahead of time to see our own plans is strange and amazing. So what happened was, one of my friends was like, you know, he's like talking about, I was talking about the laws of connection or whatever, laws of, you know, connection, attraction, entanglement, the laws of entanglement. And he kept telling me, you need to watch Touched. You need to watch this show, Touched. And it's all about the Fibonacci sequence. And he was like, I think you would really like it. You think you'd really like it. And I was like, okay, fine. And so on the way home that day, we stopped at Rosie's Market. And this particular time, I don't drink a lot of soda, especially during this time. I was vegetarian and stuff, and I thought, I just want an orange soda. I don't know why, I just want an orange soda. And so my husband grabbed me an orange soda. So as I'm sitting there, we go home. He tells me to watch this movie. So my husband and I go straight home, and it's on Netflix, Touched, and it's got, you know, Kiefer Sutherland or whatever, you know, Jack Bauer. And I turn it on, and through the whole video, just orange soda. orange soda. And then this color orange started to become very significant, like the power of orange knickers. And I would go to the site, and every time I would see something orange, bright orange there. Like one time I got an orange shirt with a spike, and then I came back later and there was an orange shirt or an orange cap at the next Zephyroth over. And then one time I saw just an orange flag out in the middle of nowhere, and I was like, And so I decided to walk out there, and then I found like all these weird witchcraft shit laying around. And I was like, that's strange. And then some other things happened with the color orange. Like, for instance, when I went to the Krishna temple up at Upper Synanon, they put an orange wrap around me. I didn't think anything of it then, but I was looking back at it now. I'm thinking, wow, that's crazy. I had an orange thing on. And also, I had red hair, orangish red hair when they cut my head off. I know that. And there was one other thing about orange. The House of Orange. Mary Magdalene is the House of Orange. So that was freaking crazy. And the root of David is Rutten, which is redheaded. So it's more to do with orange that I cannot think of right now. But it was very strange how the color orange started to actually like follow me. And I took Tony Robbins training. And even before that, I understood psychology. Took psychology and stuff, so I understand about our serval mechanism, that we have a mechanism in our brain, like say your friend gets a turquoise Honda. Well, you say you never seen a turquoise Honda ever before, but now you see them everywhere. Well, it's not because they're everywhere now, it's because you're noticing their serval mechanism has like a guided missile. Like a guided missile has a target, it seeks it out. Your brain has the same thing. Whatever you set your target to in your brain will seek it out. So that's one of the powers, the laws of attraction, is to set your brain to what you want, and then your brain, if it's turn your shoulds into must, you must get this, you must do this, you must attain, you must achieve, then your brain will seek it out. So it's the same thing on a lighter level with things you see around town or cars or whatever you notice. So once you start to pick things up, you start to pick them up, and but this color orange started really following me everywhere to the point where it was like, oh my gosh, like, what is it? And then it wasn't until like a month ago I found out the orange is the House of Orange is Mary Magdalene. So just really interesting. And orange is the pumpkin, which is very significant because that's the head of John the Baptist. The headless horseman is John the Baptist. So obviously the color orange being symbolic of the pumpkin, and them having their heads cut off. And a lot of my friends who understand this and click with it and understand that even way before I knew them, have either had a dream of me having my head cut off. This is like back when I was like 13. Either had, because I've been kind of trippy my whole life, okay, like, and I tend to attract a lot of other trippy people, or either that are really normal people. But, so we used to talk about this back then, that people had either dreams of me having my head cut off, me telling them it's going to be okay, that they're going to have their head cut off, and explaining to them what's going to happen, and then not to be afraid, and then them having their heads cut off. And I have several friends that just have them being told to bend over and having their heads cut off, which is what's known as the Essene divide. So there's a lot associated with orange, and I would like to know more. If you know anything about orange, anything more about orange, then please do let me know, because I am very interested in the color orange, just because it seems so connected to me, like out of nowhere. It's not like a color I like or anything. But the power of orange knickers is a song. It's my music for the song, it's like a guitar. The power of orange knickers under my petticoat. The power of listening to what you don't want me to know. Can somebody tell me now, who is this terrorist? Those girls who smile kindly then rip your life to pieces. Can somebody tell me now, am I alone in this little pill in my hand? And with this secret kiss. So I talk about that secret kiss of humanity being put to sleep. That's the kiss of Snow White. Or the kiss of this little piece right here where it says shh. Or the kiss of death. They talk this kiss is throughout history. They talk about this kiss, the Judas kiss, all kinds of stuff like that. Am I alone in this? A matter of complication when you become a twist for their latest drink as they're transitioning. Can somebody tell me now, who is this terrorist? This little pill in my hand that keeps the pain living. Can somebody tell me now a way out of this? That sacred pipe of redstone could blow me out of this kiss. Am I alone in this? Which I found out was the peace pipe. So She's talking about her orange knickers. Now, I've never owned an orange piece of clothing in my adult life, except for the year that Tori Amos wrote that song. I bought a pair of orange running little shorts. They were knickers, literally. And that is what that song is about, is everybody running through Central Park when they painted all these bridges orange. They spent $26 million to paint all these bridges orange in New York, and people were already pissed about it. And it was because they were trying to make the color orange, but like, danger, danger, oh, we're on orange alert, whoa, God, you know, a terrorist. And like, they were doing all this orange, 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 and all the women put on all these like orange running shorts, and she said it reminded her of like James and the Giant Peach, all these big orange butts going through the park, and it was sort of like a different side of orange, you know, but the mind control was there. And so I thought that was very interesting. I think she said it was her daughter that had pointed it out. But Tori Amos's name is very interesting because they say that Mary Magdalene was married to Amos before that, and so her last name would have been Amos, so she would have been Mary Amos. Tori Amos's real name is Myra, which is an anagram of Mary. So Maya, Myra, Misa, Mary. So that she would be Mary Amos. That's funny. And then people used to always call me Tony Amos because I always sing a lot of Tori Amos songs. So it was just really funny. But so anyways, very interesting about Orange and the Matrix, and how somehow the secrets of Mary Magdalene talk about a key. Here lies the hoarded key, and a weapon that they had that they would never let anybody else use, that they possessed, but that they would never use themselves. And this was this Broken Arrow Navajo sites that are like free energy nuclear weapons, which is what's over here right by my house. And they're Atlantean weapons. So, and we are the capstones. We go, oh, we found the capstone. No, we are the capstones. Get it? So that's what we need to know. That's why we have the keys in our hand. That's why everything we have is inside of us. Like, it's been told us this a million times in so many different ways, and people just don't get it, man. It's crazy. They got you searching for the source. People tell you, like, the source, oh, you know, like, this and that for the source. But the source is inside. The source is your soul. If we're heirs to a kingdom, you need to think about what that means. I'm sorry. But if we are heirs and we are inheriting something, which was what everybody talks about, you need to think about what that inheritance means. What does that mean? That means what's left of our Father is living inside of us. Does that make sense? You know, someone has to die for you to inherit something. So that means that everything that was him is us. So we are all that ever was and ever will be and ever it is. That ever is. That's it. That's what we are. And we have to be that, or else we truly are a wandering star. Or nothing but a lost star. And that's what most Christians are and most religious people are nowadays. That they're really wandering stars. They don't know exactly what they're doing. They really don't. They believe something. But there's a difference between knowing something and believing something. And that's where you get the Gnostics. So the Gnostics, they don't just believe. They know. They know what it is. Gnostic means smart ass. It means smart mouth. It means know it all. You know, because they always knew. You know, when the rabbis and the Pharisees thought that they would all come out and like, oh, this or that with all their politics and stuff, the Gnostics would know. Who cares? Beliefs are prisons for the mind. But when you know something, to know it is to be able to really, truly know a thing and to be able to use it and to wield it, things like that. So, and I'm going to do another video on wielding it. What is the Holy Spirit? What is all that stuff? So anyways, thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning in, you guys, and more videos to come. Thanks for hanging in there.